I began writing poetry in the 7th grade, so I was about 12 years old, and I was actually forced to write during a free writing class, and I was so mad that I had to, and that's where I wrote my first poem. It was about my brothers and how they pissed me off. But after that, I then started performing poetry at the age of 14 in the New York Knicks Poetry Slam, and from there, I haven't stopped. So I actually have done a lot of New York slams. I've done the New York Knicks Poetry Slam, the Brave New Voices Teen Slam. So I've performed at the Apollo, Broadway's New Amsterdam Theater, the New Eurekan Poets Cafe. I performed several places, numerous places. When performing in front of a lot of people, it's so dark that you don't even realize that there are a lot of people. But it's funny because you can feel their energy. And it's really scary, yet you know that all they wanted to see you do is do amazing. And all they want is greatness to come out of your voice and greatness to come out of this one moment. They don't expect anything wrong or less than that. One of the most memorable times that I was on stage was probably when I performed at Broadway this past March. It was beautiful because when you're in such a zone, you black out, and the poem goes so quick, but I just remember this one moment, and I just heard the crowd just snapping and applauding, and their energy just made me want to stay on that stage forever, and that's how I knew I don't want to do anything else. I can't work in a job in a cubicle. This is really like my heart, and I'm giving them my heart every single time I come on this stage, and this is all I want to do. When I was writing Prince Charming, I was actually only like a sophomore in high school, so the Tyler Clementi case didn't really come up, but on Lifetime, you always see the movies about the gay men and all these like controversial issues on Lifetime. And I just sit there with my mom, and I'm like, oh my God, I should write a poem. And she'd be like, you can't do that. And I'm like, watch. So when I first wrote that poem, it was just mainly about fairy tales and gay men, and why can't that ever come together. But then once Tyler Clementi happened last year, I changed the entire piece and dedicated it to him. And I know there are thousands of other men and women who have been battered and beaten because of their sexual orientation, but I really wanted to dedicate this to him and Rutgers because he inspired this more. And I was gonna just throw this poem to the side and never even say this piece, and if it weren't for him, this piece wouldn't exist right now. I see the spoken word movement, the whole slam poetry feel, going in a beautiful direction. I know many people may think that it's just complaining on a stage, or just people spitting their diaries on stage. It's like, why are you still talking? But this is our outlet. And just how painters have a canvas, how dancers have a floor, we have a stage. And as much as they may say dancers aren't complaining, they're complaining. Artists are always complaining, and poetry is a way for kids, is an outlet for gangbangers, all these different people to just have a voice for once and feel like they are alive in this world and that they are heard. And so this poetry movement has gone through a lot. It's been a journey, but it's going somewhere, and it's going fast. So I'm excited to be a part of it, and I'm excited because I'm a mentor for poetry at a few high schools and stuff. So I just really want to like educate students and make them feel like they have a voice. So I'm excited. What drives me to write poetry is all the times I wasn't heard, all the times that my brothers would just ignore me, or the times that no one heard somebody that I knew. All the times that I was ignored and just thrown to the side is what inspires me every day, because even if I'm not writing a poem, my goal each day is to make someone feel like they're heard and make someone feel like I'm listening, and just give them that eye contact that shows that I care. And that's what poetry really means to me. It's a time for someone to feel like they're wanted. The main difference between the written word and the spoken word is basically the spoken word involves more acting, I think, and it really, unfortunately, is based off the audience, and you kind of cater your wording and everything more towards the audience. I feel written word is completely the truth. It's completely just all of you, and that's why I'm actually trying to write a book, is because I want to show people the two sides of it, because the spoken word is, and I think that's where a lot of people kind of dislike the spoken word, is because you're always catering to the audience, and it's like we have to please them and make them feel like we're great and we can justify ourselves through that. And so that's the main difference, is there's, I think, a little bit more truth in the written word. A few prompts that you can do to inspire you is maybe try like monosyllabic poems, which are basically one-syllable poems. So like, I love you since I was 12. So just try and write a whole poem like that, or write a whole paragraph and just take the first line, the third line, the second line, the 12th line, and then just combine it all and just see how that is without all that extraness and all that extra fluff. Or there are so many ways you can really just come up with poetry, and I think there's actually a book in Barnes & Noble about that. So I'm like promoting and advertising now, but there are many different prompts that you can try and do that have honestly helped me. A lot of classes here at Rutgers, I wouldn't be where I am at this point without them. It's really a lot of different prompts that you can do in exercises.